Giving students authority does not necessarily lead them to take responsibility. So you can't just throw it at them. Because responsibility, there's two ways you can hear that word. And I realized after a while how you really have to hear it. There's, you're responsible for that pen and you better pick it up. That's just because I told you you have to. And by the way, if you don't pick it up, you're out of the room. Okay, so they just do it because you told them to, you required them to. And then there's this sense of responsibility. And that's a very hard thing to actually, we were trying to play around with it to try to think, what is that? That's some kind of internalized feeling that this is a value that I have. And that's what I wanted them to have. But that takes building. We're not innately born with a sense of responsibility. That needs to be built. So, what do we do? I had to teach responsibility. And so how do I do that? I try to instill responsibility for cleanliness instead of just requiring it. Okay, why am I doing this? I want to internalize the value of respecting the classroom, and I want to build a strong enough sense so that it can be translated into other areas. So, I mean, because you'd say, why care about cleaning anyway? I mean, what's the big deal here? We know there are brilliant people in the world who have a disaster of an office, and they may know where everything is or not, but it doesn't matter. They're still brilliant and get great things done. So is that really the bottom line? You're clean and you're great? No, but we're a community. And if I had left my stuff all over the place here, and then it was Howie's turn to go, and I hid this underneath 7 pages, he would be angry with me because it's his, but what will we do? So you can't just do that. You have a community that you're responsible for, and hopefully they'll go out in the environment and they'll maybe not throw their stuff out the window when they're driving. And maybe what I was really hoping for is I would have an idea of how do you make them responsible, not just for cleaning, that was just a little place for it, but I wanted them to be responsible for learning. So I need to learn, how do we teach responsibility? Okay, so how am I going to teach responsibility now? These are the things I'm thinking of. I'm going to make a routine. I'm going to make it a routine, and it has to be a routine we really stick to. It's not some days it's one thing and some days it's another. It's a real routine, and we're going to practice it often. Alfie Kohn had this great statement, I think also, name of the book? Thank you. I knew you would know. Ruth Charney also, practice, practice, practice. I mean, you've got to practice these things. Thank you. You have to provide feedback. Remember I said I had the pictures? I never showed the kids the pictures. I didn't want to affect the study. But, wait a minute. I could have built that into the study. Show them the pictures. Obviously, they didn't like the idea. They actually, when they saw me videotaping, asked me once if I was going to put it on YouTube. I told them yes, but anyway. So they actually did have some innate sense that there was a value to having it look nice, having it set up well. But they were working on it. So I should have shown it to them. I wonder what would have happened. Maybe next year, that's what I'll do. I'll set up the routine, I'll practice often, and I'll say, hey, let's look around. Let's do a little tour of the room. Isn't this funny? Look at how much stuff is on the floor. Of course, not in my room, but I want to create motivation for it too. I like fun. I think you can tell. Kids like fun. They get into it if you make it some kind of a game. Somebody in our class, where we talked about this, mentioned about having a big giant box. 2 boxes. One with a whole bunch of stuff that you need for some artwork, and it's a disaster. And then the other one all organized. And then have the kids timed. Go to the box, see how long it takes you to find the implement you want. Wouldn't that be cool? Because then they can feel it. They can say, oh my goodness, look, it took me, and I didn't even find the red pen, but I found it in this one in 2 seconds. I'm already back and I've drawn half my drawing. That would be really fun. So there are fun ways to create motivation. And you have to make the purpose clear. The kids have to understand why we're doing this. If they think they're doing it because you want the room clean, chances are, they respected me. They would do it when I said 30 seconds. They were great. But that's really not what I'm trying to teach, that when an authority figure says do something, you do it. In fact, maybe we want them to think a little more than that. But I want them to have this sense inside that there's some value I'm basing this on, and I have to teach that.